Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating philosophical framework that completely challenges how we participate in the world around us. It's a concept from our source material that takes the sprawling, sometimes totally chaotic human experience and boils it all down to one very specific strategic choice.
So let's just dive right in with a question that kind of forces us to look in the mirror. Think about your current life situation for a second. In the complex games of your life, are you down there sweating on the field or are you sitting comfortably up in the stands? I mean, really think about your career, your personal projects, your relationships. Where is your energy actually going right now? There's a harsh, but honestly profoundly true statement from the text that sets the stakes for everything we're discussing today. No one cares what a spectator says or feels at the end of the game. Wow, that stings a bit, doesn't it? But it's true. When the final whistle blows, the opinions of the people in the cheap seats just fade away. All those hot takes, the Monday morning quarterbacking, the endless critique in the comments section, it all literally evaporates. History and actual results are dictated solely by the people who were actually in the arena putting it all on the line.
All right, moving into part one, life as a complex game. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to shift our perspective a bit.
The author asks us to imagine your life is a list of complex games. Reality isn't just a single giant monolithic event that just sort of happens to you, It's a series of overlapping games. You've got your career game, your health and fitness game, your relationship game, even your financial game. They're all running simultaneously. And in every single one of these, you have a fundamental choice to make about your role. You are never just passively existing. You are constantly deciding how to engage. Are you actually training for the marathon, or are you just watching the highlight reels on your phone? Are you building the business, or are you just reading about the success stories of other people who did? Which brings us to part two, the spectator's reality. Let's look at the default state for a lot of people. So what exactly is a spectator? Well, our definition here says it's someone who can only sit and watch things take their course. They are paying to watch real players perform without having any control whatsoever. And it's super easy to see why this is the default for so many of us. A spectator sits safely away from the action. You're completely safe from physical exhaustion, financial ruin, or maybe worst of all, public failure. But the catch is, you have zero control over the outcome. You are merely paying to watch the real players do their thing. And sure, you might be paying with literal money by buying a ticket, but more often than not, you're paying with your limited time and attention, doom scrolling while others actually build things. It's a really comfortable place to be, but it is entirely passive.
Now, let me be absolutely clear about something, and the source material emphasizes this too. There is nothing inherently wrong in being a spectator. I mean, you literally cannot play every single game in life. You'd burn out by noon. We all need to kick back in the stands sometimes. You can't be the Fortune 500 CEO, the Olympic athlete, the master chef, and the brilliant artist all at exactly the same time. But the core warning here is this. Do not passively accept the spectator role as your universal default setting. If you're a spectator in your own career, your own health, and your own relationships, you're just letting life happen to you. And that just cannot be the default if you actually want to leave a mark.
Okay, let's shift gears to part three, the burden of the player, because getting out of the stands is not easy. There is no sugarcoating this at all. A player's life is hard, it's stressful, and above all, they must perform. Stepping onto the field introduces serious friction. You are suddenly balancing immense weight. And most terrifyingly, you have to execute under pressure while everyone else watches and judges you. The time for talking is over, right? When you launch that product or ask for that promotion or step into the gym for the very first time, you are risking your ego. You're actively inviting criticism. It's a heavy, heavy burden to carry. So, with all that stress, why do it? Well, let's look at part four, the player's ultimate reward. If you're willing to bear that heavy burden, you get to reap some absolutely massive perks. The rewards of victory are completely disproportionate to the effort. We're talking admiration, reputation, money. Those are the obvious trophies, right? But notice those last two on the list, power and control. Because the player actually takes on the risk. They are the only ones who get to steer the ship. They decide the direction of their life. These are perks that the comfortable armchair critic who has absolutely no skin in the game can literally only ever dream about. They can shout all they want from the nosebleed section, but the player is the one holding the steering wheel. This naturally leads us to part five, weighing the trade-offs, because at the end of the day, there's always a cost. Let's compare the spectator versus the player side by side. It is a really stark contrast. On one side, you have the comfort of sitting and watching, but you're chained to powerlessness.
You're ignored when it actually counts. You were just a passenger. On the right side, you leap across the gap. You trade your safety and take on massive risk and responsibility. But in exchange, you grasp true power and control. It's safety with irrelevance versus risk with reward. And here's the kicker. You can't have the player's control while keeping the spectator's comfort. You have to choose which pain you want, the pain of discipline and risk or the pain of regret and powerlessness. Now, if the thought of having to be a superstar in literally every aspect of your life is making you sweat a little bit right now, take a deep breath. You don't need to be a great player in all games. In fact, you shouldn't even try. This is really about strategic energy management. You get to curate your energy and decide which jersey you're going to put on. You can be a fierce, dedicated player in your business, but happily sit in the stands when it comes to, say, learning the guitar or following local politics. You get to intentionally choose where you deploy your finite energy.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 6, Choosing Your Game. It's time to get strategic. So, how do we actually shift our stance? The source material gives us a super straightforward progression to get out of the stands, but it does require some radical honesty. Step 1. Realize and acknowledge where you are currently just a spectator in some games. Where are you letting things just happen to you? Is it your finances, your physical health? You gotta admit it first. Step 2. Choose your game. Look at your internal compass and select the specific arena you actually want to play in. Draw a circle around it. And finally, Step 3. Be a player. Step onto the field, embrace the stress, put your ego on the line, and take control. The ultimate goal here isn't to never be a spectator again. That's impossible. It's about consciously shifting the balance of the scale. You need to enable yourself to be an active player in more games of life than you are a spectator. You want the heavy weight of your life's legacy to lean toward action, creation, and control, rather than just passive observation. If you audit your life right now and you find you're watching 90% of the time and playing only 10%, it's time to flip that script. Become the creator of your reality, not just the consumer. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to chew on. Think about the specific games you're participating in right now. Look at the trade-offs, the risks, and the rewards we just talked about. When you wake up and face the complex games of your life, which seat are you choosing tomorrow?